Good morning everybody. As a part of this video, I will be briefing you about Information Security and Risk Management final research paper. This final research paper should be containing at least 8 to 10 pages and the body of the document should be minimum of 5 pages. When you follow the document structure, it is clearly evident that you will be writing up to 6 or 7 pages of content, including your abstract and appendices. Your document will become approximately 10 to 12 pages, in which 6 to 7 pages of content is included. The main purpose of this document is to comment on a cybersecurity plan or a business continuity policy or business continuity protocols, procedures, plans that are implemented by the organization. Otherwise, to explain organization about what policies, procedures or plans should be included in your cybersecurity plan or business continuity policy to ensure that the selected organization is secure from the possible attacks that could happen on them in real time. So you can choose any one. If you have any cybersecurity policy related to the organization, we can comment on it. Otherwise, we can recommend certain policies and principles, procedures to the organization, a selected organization, to ensure that their security can be managed in real time. Okay, so two aspects. So my recommendation is that it is very difficult to find a proper security or business continuity plan of an organization which covers all the important aspects that are discussed in your document structure. So it is better that we go for providing recommendations to an organization about creating most effective security plan for the organization. Okay, so we need to select a small organization that is existing, which has some kind of source which is really available in the market. Okay, you're not supposed to take any fictitious organization. You're supposed to identify a very small organization which has a website and about which you can get some basic detailing. You can select any organization. For that organization, you will make your security recommendations. Understood? So next, the minimum number of references that should be included is 6 references. And among those 6 references, at least 2 references should be from journals. I recommend you people to use all the references from journals mostly, and otherwise books. Okay, at least 6 references should be included in your document. Comparative organization. So while writing content, when you are discussing about CIA trade, you can quote an example of XYZ organization which is effectively using CIA trade. So your organization is compared with some other organization. That can be achieved by doing that. So when you are discussing about benefits that can be achieved from addressing the risks, so in that context, you can take some real-time example of the attack that is happened and how organization overcome it and what kind of benefit it can get. So for example, by happening of a cross-site attack, maybe an organization lost $2 billion of money. So when you recommend about cross-site attack to your organization, you can say that if that attack is properly controlled and managed by using appropriate techniques, the organization can save up to $2 billion worth of money, because that kind of attacks will really create too much loss to the organization. So when we make a recommendation, if organization follow that recommendation, it can save large value for the organization. That can be explained. Okay, so in that way, when you quote some examples of other organizations, how they are prepared to these attacks and how the value lost by them. So when you make some discussion about other organizations as examples, so your document is complete. At least you should use one or two cases in one or two sections of your document structure. You are supposed to use examples. Okay, so that is so simple. And a paper organization and content should follow the outline below. So this is the outline, you can read that. Anyhow, I'm whatever the things that are covered in the document structure are discussed here based on the units, based on the last 8 weeks that we have learned about MIS603 discussions. From discussions, whatever we have learned in the last 8 weeks, those sections are discussed here. So same detailing were explained in the document structure. So I will go with the document structure. So first, abstract should be written at the end of the document, remember that, and conclusion should be written at the end of the document. Okay, so before that, just start with a simple organization. You can take any organization, very small or private organizations. You just click on internet and try to search for startup companies, recent startup companies in India. You will get some organizations. Otherwise, private companies in UK, private companies in US. You will get some list of names, private companies which are not listed on the listed on any stock market. Okay, so you can take any private organization, because for private organizations, this financial and what really they do, that information will be, and extended information, in-depth detailing will not be available. Brief will be available for private organizations. You can check that information from website. Make sure that that organization has a website. Okay, so that is very important, because if organization have a website, then only you can give a nice briefing about the organization. Understood? So select a organization, then discuss about application of CIA trade and SDLC. So first section, CIA trade, select organization, along with that an organization and CIA trade or SDLC. You just give a nice heading to that section and start discussing about what is the organization, what kind of products or services it offer, and where it is located. These details should be discussed. How many employees are available in the working for the organization. Okay, so a nice briefing of 50 to 100 words is expected about the organization. 50 words is enough. Then you discuss about CIA trade, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, CIA trade and why CIA trade is important for the organization. Don't just limit yourself to defining CIA trade. You are supposed to explain how confidentiality makes organization secure enough to handle information security attacks that could happen in the society. In the same way, why integrity is important and how it is valuable for the organization. How accessibility can be handled for the organization. These three sections should be clearly detailed. Then following the software development life cycle and how SDLC can help organization to create its own applications in a secure manner, that should be discussed. Okay, everything should be discussed in half page or more than half page. Then you start discussing about ethical and professional issues that usually come across, and that usually we come across while maintaining security management for the organization. Okay, these two sections should be discussed further. Page 1, and I guess maybe if you are not able to complete in page 1, you can write it more than page 1, that is fine. Okay, so restriction is in page 1, these two sections should be identified. Got it? If you are not able to do that in one page, you can go for second page, not complete page, maybe you can use 5 to 6 lines in the second page, that is fine. Next, the most appropriate risk management framework. You just cross check the textbook link. In that there are several risk management frameworks, NIST, COBIT. There are different types of security frameworks. You select any one framework. So mostly in the last in previous papers, most of them have selected COBIT or NIST. So COBIT is usually used by the software engineering organizations. So if your organization is into software, you just go for that one. Otherwise, you just define NIST. Okay, otherwise you just select what is the best risk management security information security risk management framework in the world. You just search for that and select whatever the approach you get, and you can write about it, and you can discuss, you can quote reasons why it is suitable for these organizations. Those reasons should be properly quoted. Then the most appropriate risk assessment control framework to minimize information risks. So this section is also need a half page of information. So these two sections should cover in page 2. Next, page 3. We will be discussing security awareness in coding and usage of cryptographic methods and how physical security should be applied. See, 3 aspects. So here first, security awareness in coding. So while developing the software applications, we need to make sure certain precautions are taken such that that software is not vulnerable to security attacks. We might have discussed about this aspect many times, however I am again explaining it. So while coding, for example, we are supposed to use closed details, like for example, if in URL it shows your ID and passwords and other things, it is possible for an attacker to get hold of that data. Otherwise, if the application is not having a closed loops or a properly not ended functions, it will be open for the security attacks. If the software developed is used from some internet, some code that is available in internet, it is again vulnerable to security attacks. So it is very important that while coding the application itself, we are supposed to take certain precautions to make sure that the code is secure and it is free from attacks. Okay, for that purpose, we usually use cryptographic methods are integrated in the code. Okay, so again we use cryptographic methods for different purposes. So how this cryptographic methods can be helpful in developing the coding such that it ensures that security of the code is maintained, that should be discussed in this one. Then how physical security applies. So when we are working in the organization, it is very important that unauthorized persons do not enter the office, okay, at least into work area. If it is a front office, it allows people. Again, while allowing the person, a possible security checks will be done. Okay, that is what we call physical security. So we need to discuss about how physical security should be maintained for the organization to ensure that their employees are safe, their devices are safe, and the intellectual property that is maintained by the organization is safe. Okay, so that detailing should be done. Next, you need to identify top 3 information security risks that are possible to happen for your selected organization, and identify what kind of losses it can create. You discuss about them. Then you should explain that by implementing a proper security measures to handle the identified 3 security risks, if that recommendations are properly followed, the value that is lost, which is discussed earlier, that can be saved for the organization. That is the value we are going to create for the organization. Okay, so a clear detailing should be given. 3 risks, possible impact or possible loss of value that could happen because of the risk, and by understanding the importance of those risks and by handling those risks, the value that can be saved by the organization. So these things should be discussed in this section. Okay, in the page 4, or like in the next section, next 2 sections are cyber warfare threats to the organization and how the artificial intelligence can play important role in organization information security operations. So again, one more thing is there, quantum computing and its role in information security. These things you can search and you can write about them. Finally, we write at least 5 or maximum 5 recommendations. It includes staffing, it also discusses about staffing details. So here it is discussed. You should limit them to no more than top 5 critical high priority. If needed, confirm it to 2 pages. Okay, so here you should discuss your recommendations for appropriate IT staffing should be discussed here, and a simple list of reference to them chart appendix. We have to add a chart of organization structure for security management in appendices. Okay, so discuss the potential, any other tool model plan. You can read this. Okay, it is very important. So here in recommendations, staffing related recommendations should be provided, and other important recommendations can be made to ensure security of the organization. And then finally conclusions. In conclusion you start what is the purpose of a document, and what facts and figures you identified, that should be concluded. Okay, so what is the approach, what is the purpose, what is the approach that you used, and what kind of facts you identified, 200 words. Then add references, as it was discussed earlier. It should contain at least 6 references, among which at least 2 are journal articles. Okay, in the appendix you are supposed to create a information security team structure. Okay, I will show you the sample paper. See, this is written for Bitet Research, our organization. So this is a sample paper, but don't take it granted that whatever is discussed in this paper are exactly perfect. Okay, you should write in your own style, because this is just a sample paper which is written by some immature researcher. Okay, while training they wrote it, we saved it, and we are sharing it as a reference to know how your document structure should flow. Got it? So this is appendix. This appendix should be there, and your team details in your style. You just create this key staffing positions for information security. This is an extra one, so this enough. This appendix is enough. Okay, and the references should be in APA format. When the references are APA format, the second line of your reference will be having an indent. Okay, make sure it is followed. Okay, here they wrote conclusions and recommendations in one section. You can write in the same manner, but it should contain 5 important recommendations with at least a basic briefing. Okay, so everything is discussed here in detail. So don't take it granted that whatever discussed in this document is appropriate. Okay, make sure you do your own research and find appropriate details. All right, so that is all from my side, team. Just give your best content. Thank you. If any questions, please ask me. All right, bye.